What's going on, family? We're gonna make this one a short and sweet one. How's it going? This is MT Fire coming at you again on the fire journey. We're in the car again, heading to the office, but we wanted to go ahead and tap in with you guys so that you guys kind of knew what was going on as regards to today. So, long story short, we essentially a market absolutely took a poop last week. Thank goodness, as you notice, we've been buying. We want to start backing that Brinks truck up here now. We take a look at the gap down into the 169.14 level. We kind of talked about that, watching your levels, watching it break down, and hitting these key levels, and then them taking a break. So the good news is it's at a good location for us to go ahead and start taking some really juicy buys. If you look at 3 ATR, I mean, there's probably more pain to come. But if you're averaging down, getting negative 3 ATR, I like doing stuff like that. I like catching trend changes. You look back in the past, if you'll actually let me go back in the past, look back in the past, it doesn't really get down to negative 3 ATR too often. When it does recover, at least reversion to the mean. I believe there's more pain to come, but for me, 3 ATR strategically is where we kind of like to step in. And so that's what we're going to do. If I'm doing any kind of averaging in, 3 ATR is pretty much like my benchmark, right? When you look back historically on most stocks, you get down to 3 ATR, that's about the extent of the push. You might get a little bit more, the reversion to the mean might happen. Uh, if you want to put your foot in the ground or line in the sand, 3 ATR, nice rip, positive or negative in some cases. Negative 3 ATR. The market does like to respond to those 3 ATR locations. I mean, you can kind of SCHD. We can pull that up as well. Kind of took a swan dive there. Uh, really rip into the downside. Bought some at the support level. Rip to the downside here. Let's see if it's gone lower. Probably lower than that. Broke below that. Let's see. Yep, broke below that. So a lot more pain to come. In the markets is not really settling off. It is selling off really, really aggressively, which is fine for us. Me and my family had this conversation last night. They're worried as they get closer to retirement age, is the market going to recover? And the recovery data is astounding. For like every you look back at all the data that we have for every recession in the U.S. history, recession could have been at least the smallest one was like 2 months, the longest one was like 12 months in an actual recession, right? And so, but the recovery period after that, if you held, if you held all your stocks from the recession, recovery took about twice as long as the drop. So things drop faster. It's faster to burn a house down than to build it. The drop happens, and then it takes twice as long to recover back to like the break even point. But then what was interesting is typically after recession, you have about a 45-year run of bull market. So even though this is a manufactured recession, and what do I mean by manufactured? Tariffs is induced by policy. Fundamentals of the market haven't changed yet. There's been some changes fundamentally, yes. There will be if the whole plan works out. But typically, retooling like the entire nation to go back to a 19th century economy where you produce massive quantities of steel, massive automobiles, massive agricultural products. Um, get your war footing back online, right? Building ships, things of that nature. It's gonna take that's like a 5 to 10 year process, and let me explain why. Not only it's just click a button and poof, factories grow out of the ground. Who's the people who build the factories? Where are those people that do that? Where are those people that are going to work those factories, that have those processes, that have the tribal knowledge still, right? When you globalize, you kind of shift a lot of those things overseas. I was talking to my dad. Shout out to Pops, coming up to the Pacific Northwest. Just visiting. He's on vacation. Him and mom came up, and what he told me was when he was in Illinois, right? What was crazy is the Japanese. He watched when he was was growing up, he watched just down the street from his house. He watched as they essentially were retooling Japan with the steel processes, like literally unbolting the steel sliders and the processes from the plants down the street. So he's like, why would I want to join the union and work in steel when the Japanese are able to do it for cheaper? And you're literally taking the stuff off the wall, the tools off the wall, and shipping them overseas because our processes are good, but they're just able to produce it cheaper, right? And it dawned on me, I was like, well, if it could be produced here at a affordable, aggressive level, why don't people do it already? I just realized it was because you almost can't. The competitive advantage that you get with going overseas is daunting. So there's that. And it just kind of made me realize there's a lot of things fundamentally that are going to have to change for this to even be feasible. But my looks, for those who know, are we're definitely kind of taking a look at Apple's dropping another $7 today, so we're looking at this level blowing way below 3ATR into the 180, 170, 180 pivots, right? You're looking at that for Apple, and when you're talking about all this is on the board, pretty much to the downside. So take your pick when it comes to long-term buys. I cannot stress to you enough. Please do not miss this because we don't know who's going to cry uncle first on the global market. We don't know if it's the U.S. We don't know who. So if you're looking at certain things, my buys are going to be this blue chips, technology blue chips that transcend like Google, right? When you think about Google as a technology company, yeah, you're like, well, Google is already below price to earnings ratio and has been for a long time. But then you consider, okay, we're at 3 ATR, you're going lower, but a recovery for Alphabet, it could be sound, and it'd probably be not that difficult to lift a tariff on something like Google. It's just me thinking out loud. So why not take a few stabs at the bat for Google? Take a few swings on that. Google, the Qs, kind of what we've been doing, right? Even the controversial Tesla, even Tesla, you're not going to get probably a better deal than this for the car company. Look at the earnings: point 0.5, 0.7, 0.73, right? If it's increasing, 0.72, 0.73, if it's increasing, but the price is dropping, right? And now we don't know if that's going to remain current. But like we did with Boeing, we buy when there's what? Blood in the streets, right? So, yeah, the recovery's kind of been washed away with the tariffs. Makes sense. You're going to be in an environment where, just in the aerospace, you trade a lot with Canada for your parts and stuff like that. So this is very interesting. We're kind of in a tizzy when it comes to, let's say, Boeing with tariffs, but you're kind of less in a tizzy when it comes to Google, all right, with Google and Google. So there you go. Also banks, right? Goldman Sachs. You got Goldman here at a low, right? Massive volume candle right here. We'll go ahead and put an alert. So once it trades above there, we at least get a heads up. It'll be a while though, because the market is just absolutely selling off. Could definitely go limit down on the futures for sure. So just watch it, man. We haven't gone limit down in I don't know how long, but it'll be insane, utterly insane, if we do. So yeah, we are told in. Got IBM here. IBM holding its chops. It's not that 3 ATR, but at the same time, you'd be like, ooh, 218. Get it while it's hot. That's what I'm saying. If you had a Christmas list, you should already have locked that in. Look at that. AVGO 143. Where do they do that at? Right, we took the ball initially from 166, caught the rally all the way to 251. Actually rolled it up at that 251 area. So it was a great time. You don't get that every day. It was nice, like grand slammer right there. But right now, you're looking at potentially an opportunity to take a 3 ATR buy at 143. Right, actually bouncing off this level a little bit, but we're selling off again. So this is something to think about. We don't have a lot of juice. I'm not going to hold you guys off in the market. If you've got the system, use it. But right now, you notice, the in plays are stacked because everything sold off to the downside, even our chart of communication. It did end up capitulating. Right? It did end up capitulating. So we did take the roll the day before, taking some profit off the table, but that roll ended in defeat. So, it is what it is there. Other things to kind of look out for, Costco. Look at that, not close to 3 ATR. So relative strength is going to be important. When you see things like Costco, even right now, it did kind of really peel to the downside. 883, 889, right? You look at that, the gap down is immense, right? It's in the 880s from 916. Yeah, so watch that. Bring your list out and execute on your plan. This is a 3-year plan. This isn't recovery overnight. 3-year plan, minimum. Or not minimum. 3-year plan estimated. Minimum, I'd say a year. So think about your time frames of a year. Doesn't mean go all the way, balls to the wall on options, but it does mean if you got a wish list, you got extra cash, average in, get it done. 18 seconds, crush the market, guys. Hats off to you. Peace.